Hello, in today's video, we're going to be going over my process of making a mod from scratch with absolutely zero experience. First off, I'm going to tell you, I have not completed it yet, so if you're expecting a finished product at the end of this video, I'm sorry to tell you that it's going to be in another video to come. I definitely didn't know what I was doing, and so I had to follow a lot of tutorials. Um, I have a few that I really liked and were very helpful, but honestly, there's not a lot of content out there for creating a mod, especially ones with NPCs in them. Most of them are like adding an item or adding an area, but there's not a lot on adding NPCs. This mod that I am creating has a location and an NPC, or in other words, just a person and their house that I've been adding to the game. There's a lot of things that I definitely didn't think of, and then there was a lot of things that were a lot harder than I thought they were going to be. But for the first part of the tutorials that I did, I started making a map. And so I was able to take the tile sheets from the original maps in Stardew. You can actually export all the content from Stardew. That way, you're not messing with the game or taking anything out of it and screwing up your game. Um, and then just use the tile sheets. So this is a program called Tiled that I used and kind of made my own map and was just messing with it, trying to make something that I liked in my own area. And then something else that's important is the different layers of your map. So you have your back layer, your buildings layer, front, and always front. And then there's objects as well. So there's tile sheets that you'll put on each layer. And so for the back layer, that's the floor that you're walking on. The buildings layer is buildings that you can't walk through. Front is going to be in front of you, and then always front will always be in front. So there's definitely different layers, and they have to be in the order unless you want to walk through your buildings or not be able to walk through the grass because they're made by buildings, or have tile sheets of grass just floating above you. So you definitely have to use the correct layers when making the map. I definitely made that mistake. And then I went ahead and made the inside of the house for my character. And I actually just took the house, Emily and Haley's house, and then kind of recreated it to make my own, just so I didn't have to come up with like the basic shapes and tiles. And so I definitely did some reworking of that. And then put whatever I wanted into, which was super fun. But I definitely messed up with some of the layers and had floating couches or some floating cabinets as well. Another thing that you can do is you'll be able to click on certain aspects of the house, like in the vanilla game, and it'll give you some sort of message. And so, something that I did is I had a little guinea pig cage in there, and then whenever you click on it, it will give you a message about the guinea pig. And to do that, you just make some tile data, and then you'll have action, and you'll put dialogue, and it'll give you a dialogue box whenever you load it into the game, which is super cool. But to start making the mod, you have to have what's called a manifest, which basically gives your Nexus username, and then it gives you your name of your mod, and then a few other things that will just set what your mod is. And then you're going to make what's called a content like JSON file. And that is where everything is going to be. So you'll have like your maps, and then you'll be putting things like whenever it's winter, your map needs to change to your winter map. I also started working on the sprites. So I actually just took Haley's sprites and imported them into a sprite, a sprite software, which made it super easy. I just ended up kind of recoloring her hair and her outfit, and then was able to just put that into the folder, and it actually ended up working, which was super cool. Um, so the character actually did show up in the NPC menu where you can see everybody in their uh, amount of hearts. And then she actually showed up on the map too. The only thing is, she showed up on the map, but she's just standing in the middle of town. She hasn't moved yet because I haven't got to her schedule. So that's going to be coming up soon. So this is all the fun stuff, but now becomes the hard part is actually getting the mod to work. I made my map and I ended up putting it into the game, and it was able to get to it, which was super exciting. And then the coordinates are 1, 1.
Look at that.
Right now, these are not in the correct window.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's lagging. Oh, for some reason.
Oh, because it said it's a building, not a path, I bet.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But it's over. Oh, I can go through everything right now. But I can walk on this because that's the floor, the background.
Right. So it looks like the tree. That tree's fine.
Oh.
I wouldn't venture too far. But then some other things need to be set as floors.
Yes,
like that.
yes.
It's very cool. Very
yeah.
cool. Alright, let's go.
Needless to say, I was super excited to see my map in Stardew Valley and get to walk around and interact with my environment. But the hard part came whenever we had to get the warp to work with the vanilla maps. So that was a little bit rough.
I'm praying.
I ended up using multiple tutorials. The Stardew wiki has a lot of good content as well. And then my good old friend, ChatGPT. All of them were unable to help me with my problem because the game would not load a warp, and then it also ended up crashing my mod. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I started doing this as a fun little project, and it has now been a week of trying to get this warp to work. I did this again and again and again, and I would have a little bit of progress, and then I ended up crashing the mod again after changing just the slightest bit of code. So I ended up not even being able to get into my house either, and the house map was a little bit broken as well. So I took a break from the warp and ended up working more on my NPC and the dialogue. That's something that I wrote out, and there's tons and tons of different instances, like if you were to say yes to the flower dance or no to the flower dance, or if you're already engaged, or if you are married to the person. There's so many different instances, which made it a lot of content. Here I'm working off of Haley's dialogue sheet, but I actually ended up finding a different one on Stardew Wiki, which is a template that it was much simpler to work off of and gives a lot of explanations of the different portraits and dialogue options that you can use. Alright, so as a little bit of a recap, this is how far I've gotten. I have my manifest folder, or file, that just kind of gives a little depiction of what it is my mod is, who made it, the version of it, so if you make updates throughout, you can always update it here, and then how it's made for. So I made mine for a content patcher. That was the simplest way since I have zero coding experience. And then I have my content file, which is a lot more complicated. It gives your custom maps. It gives you your like replace maps. It'll give you your character assets, or your like character disposition, if your character is an adult, if they're dateable, what their birthday is, all that sort of thing. And then I also have my maps. So if I go into my assets folder, there's my maps, my house map, my outdoor maps, which come with 4 different ones for all different seasons. And then I have my character dialogue, my portraits, and that sort of thing. So that's what my folder is looking like right now. Is it working? No, but we'll get there. And then for what is actually visible in the game, right now my map is not visible because I'm starting over on that and putting the map in town